Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Creative Journey Live. So glad to have you here with us tonight. I am Kevin Gregg.
I am, shall always will be, Paul Carganilla until the day that I die.
Yes, you are. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here. We're doing our YouTube live stream. We're recording this. This is also the audio podcast that you're listening to. This is the show that is designed to help you get your creative work done. Whether you're an actor, writer, singer, dancer, painter, musician, florist, I don't know. What else, Paul? What else could people be?
You could be a pilot. You could be a pilot that makes designs in the sky with smoke.
You could?
A ballet dancer. I really want this podcast to help all the freestyle walkers out there.
I like when you said that it sounded like it was bralette, because I don't know what bralette is. It's like dancing while you broil things, which is pretty good too. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's the culinary version. A lot of our Hawaiian friends just do their bralette.
That's it. I love it. Hey, we're so glad to have you here. If you're here on the YouTube stream, please join in. We got a lot of people that are joining us tonight. I want to give a big shout out to Cherry, Diana, Christopher Utley is here. What? Wow. Ari's here. Diana, Christina. Oh my gosh. I want a big shout out to our crew. Craig and Heather and Sam, who's helping us tonight with the stream. It is awesome. We've got a very special show for you tonight. We're doing something that we've never done before.
I was just gonna say, if we got Sam on board for tonight, that must mean there's some sort of fun, exciting challenge. We get to deal with technology. What's happening tonight?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what's happening tonight. We're having a return guest join us, and I'll tell you who's coming back. Kenny Landman, why don't you unmute yourself and join us back on screen? Kenny Landman is joining us again on the show. Hey, Kenny, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
You bet. And of course, we got somebody else who's a friend of ours, John Eden. Why don't you unmute yourself and come on into the room? Hey, buddy. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Look at this. For those of you that know us, we all worked at Disneyland. This is sort of like a mini Laughing Stock reunion for just a second.
Us. Who's going to be Sally?
Okay.
Right, let's go.
Enough. Hey, the reason that we're here is Kenny Landman was on the show a couple of months back as we were in the beginning of quarantine, and he talked to us about his short film, Dating Under Quarantine, that tonight we have the privilege of doing the world premiere for. So congratulations, Kenny and John, for the two of you working on this together, along with the rest of the cast and the crew that we're going to be having on the show tonight. How do you guys feel, huh, Kenny?
Good. It's exciting. It's nice to finally get together and show it to everybody, all the work we've been doing since March. It's been a ton of work, and just grateful to have an opportunity to showcase the film and the cast and the crew.
Awesome, buddy. Couldn't be proud of you. Couldn't be more prouder of you, for goodness sake. John, what was it like working with this goofball, huh?
It was fun when we had our little moments of going back and forth, but I'm going to say this, that Kenny pulled the best out of me. So
right
there'd be a lot of times when I'd be going, I think it's good. And Kenny would go, no. And so we go back and look at it again. And yeah, it was actually great. And we spent, a lot of communication, and then was a little period there where things kind of went sideways with me moving to Tennessee and things. And
yeah.
So, yeah, but it was great. It was great. And what an experience to do something like this completely separated apart and try and make it look like it was a film filled with a crew.
Well, we're going to be talking about all of that tonight, the challenges that you guys faced while you were creating this. Plenty of kudos to you, especially in a time when people would say, oh, I can't do this. It's impossible. How can we make stuff, how can we make this happen? You definitely did it. And I think that the proof's in the pudding. Paul's already seen this. Paul, what do you think, man? This is, for me, I've been incredibly impressed with these guys taking a look at the products that they made.
Absolutely. And I think I mentioned the first time Kenny was on the show, like you'll be watching it, and then it'll hit you again, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, they did this without a crew. Like, it's just crazy. You forget because it's that good. It looks that good. The production value is right there. So I think after quarantine, a lot of crews are going to be out of work because a bunch of actor writers are going to be like, I'm going to make this up.
Absolutely not.
No.
Super, super impressive. I'll tell you what, guys, why talk about a film when we can just show a film? Kenny, here's what I say. Any final words before we do the world premiere of your short?
Just grateful for everyone who's here to watch it. It's really a story of connection in a time of isolation, and we hope it brings you a little bit of hope and joy during this difficult season.
I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, couldn't be happier to have the world premiere of Dating Under Quarantine. Sit back, enjoy this wonderful short film that these guys created. We'll see you on the other side to talk to the cast and the crew. Take her away, Sam.
With no clear end in sight, this quarantine could last indefinitely. As the virus continues to spread worldwide, death rates are on the rise. First responders are working feverishly as hospitals fight to...
Hey, Bench.
Call me Buzzy.
Buzzy?
How you doing on lockdown? You going crazy over there on your own?
I could be better.
Come on, Charlie. Check out the bright side. This is good news, my man.
Good news?
Unemployment, baby. We are getting paid to do the very thing we've wanted since the day we were born.
Take naps?
And get paid. You're lucky I call you every day. Keep you connected.
I'm trying to unplug.
Bad idea, bucko. You gotta get out.
You can only go to the grocery store.
Ooh, that reminds me. I had to pick up some milk today for the fam. There was the longest line of the finest women wrapped all the way around the
I
outside.
think that's my microwave.
So I started cruising to all the different grocery stores. Started hitting up the finest chicks in each line.
Are you insane?
I mean, they gotta eat, right? So, how about it?
How about what?
How about a date?
I'm flattered.
You know what'd be good for you? A dating app. Worked for me.
So did Hooked on Phonics.
It did. Take my advice, bro. Get a date.
Don't push it.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
You know I hate it when you do that.
Yeah, you know, I gotta hit up the plates, bro. Gotta get these guns ready for the showcase. Later.
What a moron. I gotta do something with my life. I didn't order this.
You know what would be good for you? A dating app. Dating app. Dating app. Dating app.
Well, that's because you're a mother. But I think the bigger question here is, what's keeping you from taking the risk?
Dating? In a quarantine? How would that work?
That wasn't my question. Look, I know this is our first session together, but I feel like you're avoiding the bigger issue here, which is, what's holding you back?
I'm scared. I'm scared to try again. What if it turns out like the last time? What if it turns out even worse?
Charles?
It's Charlie.
Yep, sorry, Charlie. I want you to try and exercise with me.
Okay.
I want you to repeat after me. I brought baggage.
I brought baggage.
She brought baggage.
She brought baggage.
We brought baggage.
We brought baggage.
And that baggage
And that baggage?
Just didn't fit.
Just didn't fit.
In the car.
In the car?
You need to take that baggage.
I need to take the baggage.
And throw it out.
I need to throw it out.
You need to unpack.
I need to unpack.
You need to get ready.
Get ready?
For something new. You need to go to the mountain and say, mountain, be moved. Because if you have faith, faith will see it through. You better tell your neighbor.
It's just me.
Say, neighbor, it's going to be all right. For what the enemy has brought in darkness will be exposed by the light. How do you feel?
Is this normally how therapy works?
Hello, and welcome to Single Mingle. It's time to show that you have an interesting life. To help you create that perfect dating profile, we need to start with capturing that perfect you. Your special style and flavor to help whet the appetite of those you're seeking to impress. 25 or 30 photos should be sufficient to get you started. These should include professional, travel photos, high fashion, active lifestyle shots, and business looks.
Entrepreneur of the Year.
There's no time to lose. To prove
When did I buy this?
you have an interesting life.
Oh, what am I doing? Yeah. All right. Let's see who's out there. No. No. Maybe. No. Not in a million years. Whoa. How did she... Benji, you almost killed me, man. Yeah, you're never gonna believe this. I actually did it. Hang on. I gotta go. Hey, who's this?
Hi, I'm Joslyn. Which I guess you already knew that because of my profile. Otherwise, why would you be watching? Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't really know what to say. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I was actually wanting to do this, but here I am. And I know these things tend to be about being perfect, but honestly, I'm not. But because I just want a real connection. You know, someone to share my life with, share my faith with. I'm sorry, I think I was just supposed to be saying my name and my favorite hobby. Wow, well, anyways, that's me. Hashtag overshare. How do you turn this off?
Wow, she's amazing. Okay, here we go, Charlie. Hi, how's the quarantine treating you? It's good. What? How's the quarantine treating you? That's what I led with? What am I doing? The world's in a meltdown and I'm on a dating site. Oh. Benji.
My man, how's it going over there? You find any honeys?
Online dating sucks.
What happened? Found someone, didn't you?
It was incredible.
She didn't respond. Hey man, it's okay. You're a good guy. If she didn't respond, she wasn't the right one. Or it could have been a fake profile, doesn't really matter. The right one will come along.
Thanks, Benji. Hey, Benji. I'm gonna have to call you back.
Wait, Charlie, I'm not leaving you like this. Charlie, no more ice cream!
Hey, Charlie?
Joslyn?
Call me Jazz. And by the way, the quarantine's treating me just fine.
All right, man. Congratulations. Hey, let's have the entire cast and crew unmute your video. Congratulations. Hey, let's have the entire cast and crew. Oh, that's me coming through the whole thing. Hey, let's have the entire cast and crew. Oh, I'm meeting through my whole self. That's me. Awesome. Congratulations, guys. You did an amazing job. Give yourselves a round of applause. Fantastic. Awesome. Well done. I'll tell you what, we're going to bring most of you guys back in just a second, but we're going to go through it to say hi to certain people. So why don't we do this? I think we're going to start with the technical crew, and then we'll bring back some of the actors to say hi to them in a second. So John, Kenny, you guys stick around. Hey, let me get, who's going to stick around? Drew, stick around. Matthew, stick around. That'd be awesome. Let's start with these guys. Hi. Welcome. Let's Kenny, would you do the honors of introducing who these gentlemen are that are helping us out here tonight?
Fantastic. Well, of course, we've got John Eden, who co-wrote the film with me, also the co-producer on the project. We've got Drew Lahat, who's our fantastic editor and colorist. We have Matthew Lopez, who is our sound designer and sound mixer on the project.
Awesome. Glad to have you guys here. Quite an interesting project to be involved in. Yes. Listen, we had Kenny on the show. A few months ago. And when he was telling me some of the stuff that was going on, I was shaking my head figuring out how this was going, because I know that part of this was getting this under the gun in order to get it submitted for a film festival, basically a quarantine film festival. Gentlemen, what was that like for you? Drew, let's hear your side of it, and then Matthew, if you could speak to your experiences with it and Kenny. Go for it, Drew. How was this project for you, buddy?
It was special. It was definitely fun, but yeah, I think we had a few days to get it all done, and we were doing what we could to get a version on time, and we managed to do that, and we kind of kept improving it. So what you guys just saw is the ideal, version that had all the bells and whistles, and Kenny, made sure that it was as refined as it could possibly be, and we're the happiest with it.
You're usually used to working under pretty strict deadlines, right? I mean, do you do a lot of television work as well with quick turnarounds?
I've done a lot of work in different, wearing different hats in different side of the industry. Yeah. What your question reminds me of is festivals like 168 and 24-hour film festivals and 48-hour film festivals. Right. So I think probably several of us here have experienced that. So yes. Once you go through that, everything else looks easy. So yeah, the business here is always, like super long shifts and everything. So this was fairly calm compared to that.
And with technology the way it is these days, I know a lot of people who work in post work from home and have their own equipment at home and everything. So was this a big departure of how you normally work? Or was it pretty much like this is what you're used to doing, and it's just a little bit different because you're getting the materials from independent creators rather than studios?
I'm used to, I worked from home for 6 years, so I had my own studio at home. So thankfully I was one of those people who, in that regard, I was ready. I noticed there was a, quarantine and a pandemic this year, but not in that way of everything, exactly. I feel for Kenny and for all the actors who have to film themselves, because I think that's really where, you go on set, you want between 600 and 600 people to help make it happen. And I would get the footage, and I'm like, oh, that looks really nice. That looks good. And I'm like, how the hell did he, make that happen? So I think the credit, goes to Kenny for that, and to all the actors who were able to deliver the footage that I just get. I would get some shady drive-by, calls. Kenny would be like, here's a drive, and we'll like masks and everything, and just exchange the hard drive, and that was it.
If you want to know what Drew's talking about, go back to our earlier episode that we talked about with Kenny. But literally, when he had to drop the stuff off, it was literally like a middle of the night back alley dropping off a hard drive, where Kenny's like going, is this like safe or legit, or like what's happening? So, hey, Drew, I want to ask you this. Was there anything in particular that drew you to the project? Because I'm sure that there's a lot of people that, when you're a professional and you do your stuff very well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that come to you and ask you to be a part of their projects. Is there anything that sort of drew you to this specifically?
I think that, and if you're phrasing the question from as someone with, I guess, more experience than others, what makes you choose a different project? Of course, it's the many millions of dollars that Kenny paid me for this one. Tens of millions, yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, there you go. Those indie little projects, I think variety is something that matters, because a comedy is always fun to work on. And the attention to detail, does the artist and the creator, producer, director care about their project? Not just passion, because I think a lot of people out there are passionate about their project, but attention to detail and willingness to really exchange and discuss. Whenever I had an idea or questions about a concept, or, hey, I don't think this theme is working because this and that, and we would have very fruitful discussions. So that is something I always value in directors.
Right on. Well, very good. Well, so glad that you came and joined us tonight. Excellent work. Thank you for sharing your craft. We appreciate it. Yeah. Matthew, you worked as a sound engineer on this thing, helping with the audio engineer. And from what I'm seeing from your bio, you've had years of experience doing this. What was your experience working on this film?
It's definitely something that is drastically different than any project I've ever worked on.
What was that? What was the thing that made that happen?
Oh man, the fact that, one, you can't be on set, so you can't be there to make sure the audio was perfectly recorded, which is like, what?
And so what was that process with you guys? Was it basically Kenny then recording the stuff and just like you receiving the material, or was there any guidance or anything like that, or?
Well, I mean, when it comes to any sort of dialogue, things like that, yeah, it's just, get as best recording as you can, at your own home. Mm-hmm. And then Kenny would deliver that content thanks to the internet. Yeah. And then it's just editing from there. Man, we got so many...
That's right. It's internet.
While his internet catches up, I'm just gonna mention how, like, there's sort of a blessing in the curse from an audio standpoint. And if you have to go back and ADR something or re-record something, you live in the space that it was recorded in, right? You don't have to try and go back and recreate. But I know we know from experience. We're working still on post on a feature, but like getting those sound effects, getting the ADR, and making it sound right, and not being able to be there when the person is recording it to give them feedback. Right. It's got to be so tough.
Right.
Biggest challenge for you, Matthew, as you were tackling the audio, things that you had to like think outside the box with, or where you just had to go, let's figure this out on the fly, especially with a deadline that was approaching to put this in for the short film.
Let's see. Some of the biggest challenges. I mean, honestly,
bandwidth.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
It's hard without a hard line.
That's okay, buddy. We lost your answer for a second. I'm so sorry, but that's all right. Are you there? He's frozen up again. That's okay. That's what happens when you do live stuff. Pretty awesome. Well, here's what I want to say. Matthew, Drew, thank you for all of your work, all of your skill on this. Awesome. Anything that you want to say to these guys, Kenny and John? You can unmute yourselves if you want to say something to these two cats.
No, I have to say from both of them because you know we would talk. Kenny and I would talk about things, and then we'd say, you know, I was probably more timid. Maybe Kenny was feeling the same way, but you know, I know we were paying him so much money to do this project, and you know, we're going, well, it would be nice if we could tighten this, if we could change this a little bit, or we could do this to it. And then he would send it back to Drew, and the same thing with Matthew, because I know that I had some sound issues, and so Matthew would come back and say, is there any way we can fix that? And so we're digging up, trying to figure out another microphone setup to do some of that. And the two guys worked so hard to
can't imagine.
it was really incredible. Sorry, it was
That's
really
okay.
incredible to have them working the way they were working, and to make the, you know, without, I mean, I didn't hear Drew complain at all. So either one of them, it was incredible to watch how they just take those things, fix it up, send it back to us. We take another look at it, and you know, they did yeoman's work on everything that we piled on them. So thank you guys so much for the work that you did, because you guys really, I mean, clearly it wouldn't have happened without you guys. So
outstanding.
Thank you.
Kenny, any parting comments that you want to say to both of these guys before we lose them?
Beat it. No, I was just so blessed to get these guys. I mean, Drew, kind of a cool story. There's a greenhouse arts company, and he was one of the people that I was doing a late night search, and just sort of praying like, Lord, give us somebody solid. And he's never answered the question, and you kind of cornered him, and he still didn't quite, but why did you take the project? And so we were just so blessed to have him, and just the amount of work that he did on it, and how he helped us really bring it to life. Words can't express how grateful I am. And also for Matthew Lopez, who I call MLO, he came late on the project when we wanted to kind of beautify it and lift up the quality of it even more. And I know that Drew was super excited when we brought on a professional sound designer. And we also had Andy Gladback with the score, who I think did a fantastic job helping bring all that together. So between the 4 or 5 of us, we were just late night texts and phone calls and FaceTimes, and just really working together to make it all happen, and passing everything back and forth. And thank God it all came together. So I'm just really grateful for everybody.
And on a deadline too.
Yeah, well, and that was the cool thing, because we did the deadline for the short film, and we got it in, and it was let's call it a dumbed down version of what we just watched. And I remember having the conversation with Drew, and he was kind of like, well, that's it, you know, no more millions of dollars to pay. The project is over. And then we kind of and I don't quite know how it happened, but we just sort of kept talking, and he was like, I guess that's it, basically, here, you know, sort of the goodbye, nice to meet you. And project's done. We've wrapped it up. Yeah. And then somehow I was just kind of sharing what I wanted to do with the project and where I saw it going. And we've kicked around the idea of developing it into a TV show. And he just kind of was like, okay, so what's next? And I just kind of was like, okay. And then he stayed with us on the project, and that's when we just kept going. And so it was just really, really, really great people. Everyone on this project has been so generous with their time and talents.
I do want to add, for creators out there and for young creators and anybody, well, first of all, what Kenny's saying, it matters because persistency matters. But also he would have more things that, like, all right, I'd like you to do more of this or that. And I would be like, I can't argue with that. It's a valid idea. It will make the movie better. So that helped him make his case. And also, a friend of mine just finished shooting a feature film now in 2 weeks that he did. So as far as people doing things in 2020 and next month and in a year like this, there's a lot of hunger because there's less work usually for a lot of people. And we all in this field, because we're passionate about our craft. So I, do things safely, which I think this movie is exactly, reminds us of that. But if you want to go and do something, and if you're a director, screenwriter, filmmaker, you will find enthusiastic people to get around you and to make it happen, just like Kenny did.
I was going to save this towards the end, Drew, but the fact that you brought this up, and I'm going to share it, and Kenny's going to get completely embarrassed and go, why did you share it? But I'm sharing it anyway. Honestly, Kenny, this film and you putting this together, this is something that for people that say, there's no way that I can do this, or I have all of these obstacles or all these other things going on. For anybody that's watching this and listening to this right now, I've never met a man that's more dedicated and so hyper focused on getting something done. When he gets something in his field of vision that he knows that it's been sort of prompted and it's been a thing that he says, I'm supposed to do this. And this is a guy who was doing this. Here's the part where Kenny's going to get mad at me. Kenny had problems in the beginning of this when he got furloughed off of work, and his unemployment and funds weren't coming in for months while this was happening. 4 months while he was trying to get things straightened out. And yet he was still hyper focused on saying, I've got to get this done. And we were having conversations on the side, and John was involved in it as well too. But if there was ever a guy that was thrown so many obstacles, so much resistance, that was like, forget it. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Just give up. Just do all this stuff. And a man that was so hyper focused on it, a true blessing and an example for doing that, Kenny. And the fact that Drew even said that too, because Kenny is one of these guys, man. I've worked with him on some stuff too, and he gets so, especially when it comes to his vision and the stuff that he sees, because he wants it done really, really well, which this movie shows. But to your point, Drew, that he was able to go, could we have this done or this edit? And the fact that he was able to make that clear to you, and it's not just some petty, well, I think it would be nice. No, it's not that, right? It's him making the solid argument for it. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. And I'm sorry I told everybody about your unemployment benefits.
How dare you, Kevin? Thank you. Thank you.
So anyway, Drew, Matthew, thank you so much for being on with us. We absolutely appreciate it. I'm going to ask you guys to pop off for a second, and I'll tell you who else I'm going to invite that worked on the crew. Hey, John Salas, could you come on? And also, Maddie, come on here. I don't want to blow Maddie's last name. Say it one more time for me.
Nieves.
Nieves. It's
yeah.
Nieves. Hi, Maddie. Hi, John. Maddie
was how's it going?
Welcome to the show. Thanks for being on.
Maddie was the makeup artist.
Oh,
so
nice.
Apparently she must have been like in hazmat suits and like spraying people with like paint. Did you like the airbrush hoses from like get people over by the window and go, here you go.
No, that's not. I mean, that sounds like fun, but
Maddie, how did they get you involved in this project, and what were some of the things that you had to work on doing this? And again, for people that are watching this and listening to this, please don't tell me it's impossible to do something, because these guys are people that worked on what would have been seen as impossible situations. Go for it.
Well, I thought it was going to be a super interesting, new project. The fact that I couldn't actually be hands-on was really difficult, because I just want to help and I want to do it and I want to make it perfect. But it was a good time to be a teacher, and a lot of people don't actually know how to do makeup, especially with the guys. You still have to put makeup on them, even though it's supposed to look natural. So that was a fun little obstacle. But yeah, it's not impossible, which is really good to know for the future.
I think that's such a cool thing that you just said, right? Like having these skills and these abilities. And yes, our major thing has been taken away from us when you're on set, on commercials, doing all this stuff. But now that you get the opportunity to pass on your knowledge to other people that don't know. Wow. Mm-hmm. That's pretty insightful. Most challenging aspect of working on this film?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Oh, definitely not being there. Okay. And not actually being hands-on with it. But other than that, I mean, I communicated with Kenny and it wasn't difficult at all. And I'm sure everyone took my advice.
How did you get that? Can I ask you, how did you get the makeup just right? I mean, would you be like on a Zoom thing, or like, can he take a snapshot of it, or how would you
I told him to go to Target or CVS and to get these products.
Yeah.
And I hoped for the best.
Whenever I go to Target, I just come home with a bag full of projects. So, everything there.
Did she say projects?
I meant products.
Okay, I'll bring projects home. I don't know how I'm gonna put this on my face.
And when I go to Target in the projects.
Okay, well, that's it. I guess we've just ended the show.
To her point, though, that was something that we dealt with on all the different levels because so many businesses were closed down, especially because we started the production of this pretty much right away in March, right after we closed down, and we started pre-production, and then we started principal shooting mid-April. And so the fact that, you know, it was like, we can't go to a professional makeup. There's no place where we can go that's even open at that point because people were so afraid and didn't know what was happening. So whether it was renting lenses or any of that stuff, everything was closed. And so it was like, how can we make the best of the stuff we have? And so she sent over sheets of like breakdowns of what we're supposed to do and disseminate that to the cast. And I would call her like, and there's a few shots where we didn't use anything, and you can definitely, I can see like, what are we doing? And it really, really upped the quality when we put into practice some of the things that she was giving us. So
outstanding. Brian Reed in the comments said, if you look directly at the Target logo, you can't leave without paying $100 for things that you don't actually need. So congratulations.
And it's got to be super tough to like figure out what color, what shade foundation and powder you need through Amazon.
Well, and as a makeup artist, you already have all that stuff. So, you know, you come prepared to work with any different color, skin tone, or eyeshadow or lipstick color. So you definitely have to know what products to get.
Yeah, but to your point also, Paul, think about this in the beginning stages of the pandemic, right? In the beginning stages of the pandemic, when you were ordering stuff on Amazon, they started getting so backlogged. I remember ordering like protein bars on Costco, and it took a week and a half for them to show up from the Burbank one, you know? Kenny, talk about that thing that you were discussing with one of the guys before we were premiering this tonight, about what's gone on with the timing of when you filmed this and the timing of when we're showing this now.
Are you talking about the timeline of when we did the project?
Well, the fact of like where we are right now.
Oh, yeah. I was having a conversation earlier this week with Drew, and he was saying, you know, sadly, it's almost like this was planned. We started in a pandemic, in a quarantine. Things kind of started to loosen up a little bit, and then we went back into a lockdown just in time for the release. So it's you know, sad and comedic all at the same time. But he said it's like having a film about an earthquake, and then you have an earthquake right before you release the film. So here we are, you know.
Well, something else. Well, Maddie, you've been an absolute pleasure to have on the show. And your laugh, you warned me about your laugh. Your laugh is infectious. So
oh man.
that's fantastic. Here's an interesting thing. John is with us. Jonathan Salas is with us, and he was helping out with some of the camera cinematography. Here's an interesting thing that you may not know. He was one of the happy man and the happy woman that were in the movie, you know, hugging each other as our poor main characters looking across. John, could you tell us a little story about that woman that you were hugging?
That woman is now my wife.
For real.
For real. And during that time, we were, funny enough, we were actually dating and then engaged under quarantine. So it's actually really appropriate. And it was just well, first of all, you know, Kenny, John, everybody involved, it absolutely amazing. Such a cool experience to kind of be, you know, on only one side of the camera and not have seen any of the other things, to now see it put together, and the vision that Kenny has been speaking about has been such a cool thing. So, you know, my hat's off to everybody, and it was a really cool experience. But yeah, that's my wife, and we made it through the worst of it, I should say.
So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Hey, did you get to help out with some of the camera work as well, with some of the cinematography on this?
You know, very little. I've been, you know, nothing professionally, but as a creative, I mean, it is a creative podcast. I started a media company in the real estate space. And so, you know, when I met Kenny, you know, he and I were just talking about cameras and, you know, of course, nerding out on different equipment. And so he, you know, asked me if I could help out. And so yeah, I mean, he's like a brother. So I shared what I could, and helped where I could. I mean, I think Kenny's vision far surpassed anything that my experience and knowledge. But yeah, it was really fun.
Awesome, man.
John,
Well,
what challenges did you face when figuring out how to shoot people making out through a window? And if someone was planning to do it for the first time, what?
Yeah,
yeah.
Paul, I don't even know what this question is. What is this question?
Sounds like he's planning to do a shoot.
Nothing.
Boy, and you were telling me to behave myself.
Soccer prep. Yes, exactly, Brenda. Is that your mom or your sister?
Oh gosh, this thing's gone off the rails. Fantastic.
That's cool.
Well, listen, I just want to thank you guys both for being a part of this project. Thanks for being here tonight, John and Maddie. Absolute pleasure to have you guys on. Tell you what, we're going to bring on the rest of the cast here in just a second. So let me get you guys to mute off for a second. I want to bring on some of the actors who would include R.C. Ormond, Ryan Castellino, Shannon Gallipo is on the phone. Who have I missed? Have I missed anybody? Hey, Shannon, how are you? Hi.
Good to see you, brother.
Hey, what's happening, Paul? How are you?
Fine. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Oh, here's Nathan. Nathan Landman's here too. That's Kenny's brother. Hi, guys. Glad to have everybody here. Hey, let's go around. RC, of course. RC, for those of you who don't know, a fantastic actor. This guy is outstanding, amazing. Have worked with him on a number of projects. Hi, RC.
What's happening? How are you, Kev? How are
Hey,
you?
buddy. How was this for you? You guys were working on this thing together, and I need to find out that therapist scene, which turns almost into church preaching. I love it. Improvised or written, guys? How did that work?
It was written, but it was written with certain intention.
Okay.
And at first, Kenny and I. Well, first of all, I just like to start off. First of all, that was seeing it all put together for the first time. I would love to quote George Papard from the A-Team by saying, "I love it when a plan comes together."
Yes.
That was amazing to see all of that. Like, to know how hard it was just for Kenny and I to shoot the scene that we did, and then to go back and to see all of it put together. I'm like, wow. So kudos to everybody on this project, in front of the camera and behind the camera, everything. It was amazing. So that was awesome. Answering your question.
Yes, sir.
The therapist scene, Kenny and I, we talked about it. And on the day when we were filming it, I thought my interpretation was, Kenny wants a little more of a evangelistic, that in part, kind of more of a like preacher type, right?
Sure.
And then we did one take, and then Kenny was like, "Hey, so here's the thought." And I go, "Talk to me. Let's hear it." And then he's like, "I'm thinking a little more this direction." And I was like, oh. We palavered, we talked about it, and it was like, got it. I see where you're going. Yeah. Next couple takes, we hit it, and he was like, bam, that's it. That's where I want it to go. And I was like, awesome. Which is good, because as an actor and a director, not being there with each other and trying to communicate, hey, this is what I want, as the actor, oh, okay, I got it. It's easy. But doing it via Skype, via Zoom, via FaceTime, it's like, what exactly do you want again? I'm not quite sure, so it was hard, but to communicate and make it come together, it was awesome. It's
crazy. I mean, I would tell you, Kenny and I actually worked on a project during this as well. It was a test scene for a pilot that I've been working on. Same challenge, man, but not impossible, especially when you see the final project, right? Did you have a DSLR camera in your home, or were you guys doing it for your section?
Mine was all just the camera on my iPhone and on the computer. That was it.
Impressive.
And that's what hooked me to this project. When, first of all, Kenny Landman has a heart of gold.
Yes,
so when he calls, I'm like, what do you need? What can I do for you? What's it about? I'm in. Let's go. Because I want to make magic, and make magic with you is amazing. So let's do this. And when he told me what it was and his plan and his idea, I was like, I'm in, because I have never been a part of a project like this before. That's to where it's like, wait, I have to wear so many hats. I have to be costume, makeup, DP, set design, stunt coordinator, because there is a fight scene in the therapist scene that Kenny cut out. I'm a little disappointed, Kenny, that you cut
For
that out.
real? Was there
Yeah,
what?
it was a fight scene between the therapist and his printer. The therapist one, by the way. You can probably see that in the outtakes or the bloopers when it comes out on DVD, if those are still around. But yes, it was funny, because as an actor or talent, when you show up or you audition for TV or film, you show up and everything's done. Go to your trailer, get your costume, show up on set. You know your lines? Good. Here's your blocking. Go.
Yeah.
On this, Kenny was like, "Hey, put together 3 wardrobes that you think the therapists wear and send me a picture of them." Okay, cool. Here you go. All right, awesome. I'm going to pick this one. Now, what I need you to do is show me the different rooms in your house that we can make a therapist office. Do you have an office? No, I don't have an office.
Wow.
Cool. What do you have? Oh, you're going to pick my kitchen. My kitchen now is the therapist office.
Right.
Awesome. We'll make it work. And we made it work. And it was awesome. It was fun to be a part of.
Outstanding, man. Well, listen, fantastic work in this. RC, you and I are going to offline because there's some stuff that I got to talk to you about in a good way. So,
copy.
A pleasure to have you on the show, buddy.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You bet. Excellent work. Ryan Castellino, man. Fantastic work. You got to play Benji in this role. Very good to meet you. Hi. How was this for you? I mean, I saw you laughing as we were going through this, talking about the stuff that RC went through of show me your rooms, show me all your other stuff. I know when we had Kenny on the show, or maybe we talked, Kenny, you and I might have talked about it off. Hi, everybody. I'm the host of the show and I can't even talk anymore. I know that there was one day when they were setting up a scene, he was setting up a scene with you, and it was like hours of Kenny just setting up certain things probably on his side while you were just kind of hanging out. Does any of this ring a bell for you? Not at all. Okay, great.
100%.
Okay.
I was laughing the entire time because I seem to have the exact same experience that RC had. I haven't met him before, but we have the same initials too. Kenny, and someone else was talking about Kenny, when he does this work, he does have this crazy attention to detail. I mean, I never really seen anything like that. He had me rotate a plant 30 times just to get the right look. A plant in the background.
It's so look at that. John Eden's pointing at him too. John's got I've had those experiences, right? He is like the Stanley Kubrick or David Fincher of short filmmakers.
When we were doing the thing for the guy that I played, and he goes, "Can we make the fire bigger? It's 100 degrees outside. Can we make the fire bigger?"
Crazy.
The Kenny Landman School of Acting, he needs all the elements to be real.
That's all right.
It was a blast. It was probably, at that time, I'd been acting more than I was prior to quarantine. It was the oddest thing. Everyone was doing these Zoom things, and I felt the exact same way that RC did as far as Kenny goes. When Kenny calls, it's for me, it's very much like, what's up? What do you need? What can we do? I share the exact same sentiment. This was probably the most fun that I had doing out of all the different projects that I did during the top of quarantine. So I still am very thankful, and like RC, it's great to see it.
That's awesome. And Paul, a UCLA grad right here that we're talking to, as a matter of fact. So there you go. Deal with it.
Do the theater program there?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
I graduated a while ago, though.
Same. Well, I didn't graduate, but I went there a while ago.
You look very familiar. We probably have seen each other.
We'll offline.
Very good. Well, awesome, man. Ryan, fantastic work in this. And Ryan, and you guys met each other while you were working down at Disney at Live at the Hyperion. Yes, doing the Frozen show. Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, I met Kenny at Frozen. We've been buds ever since, helping each other with all the projects, and fingers crossed that one day we get back to Disneyland for all of us. I mean, amen. I pray. My heart goes out to the whole situation.
Amen. Well, fantastic work, sir. You did an amazing job. So glad to have you here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Shannon, I'll get to you in just a second. You'll be like the prize. You'll be the prize. You'll be like cherry on top of this actor dessert. Did that make any sense? Anybody?
Love it.
No. Okay, she liked it, so that'll work. Hey, Kenny, when I'm working on a project, I think to myself, who would be the person that would know me the best? Who's someone that I may have grown up with that I could bring on the project?
Is that what you think?
I know. Let me bring my brother on board. Nathan Landman, welcome to the show.
Hi. That would be me.
Good, man. Glad to have you here. You are our newscaster in the show, but you guys actually have a little bit of a history of kind of messing around with camera and film and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a history doing everything you could imagine. I mean, people were talking about, if Kenny calls, if I'm in the next bedroom and Kenny wants to do something, or back in the day, we would just do all kinds of stuff. I mean, we've cut albums, created old vinyl record audio, written plays, used cameras, hauled out set, built our own set, gone to shows, digested every old movie from the 20s to today that we possibly can. And
so funny.
He's just got a backlog, a treasure trove of stuff in his arsenal as far as his creative, what gets his creative juices going, and kind of the history of film and all the things that are going on today. And it's really fun to see what's going on now with this DUQ.
It's interesting, guys, right? Like, what's the age difference between the two of you?
8 years.
8 years. Okay. So here's your little kid brother and doing this stuff. What was it for the two of you guys that you think sparked that creative thing for you? I mean, obviously your parents would show you old movies or other stuff that was on television. What do you think did it for both of you?
I think. Oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go, Kenny. You go, and then Nathan goes.
I think we probably owe a lot, I would say, to our parents, especially to my pop. Sorry, we get a little emotional, but
that's okay, man. That's what this is all about, man.
He served for many years in ministry, and he used to try to put on these like high caliber quality Broadway shows, basically at these churches that we were at. So we started learning lights and sound and all that stuff at a very young age. Yeah. So it was a really good breeding ground to get creative.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Nathan, what were some of the things that you remember about Kenny as a kid? Or
oh no,
I'm sorry if I'm able to talk about your furlough and your unemployment problems.
Yeah, what's next? Get my blood type
Your
on
love
here.
life is next.
Let me type my social security number into the.
That was in the show notes, bro. Too late. So.
Because I had my identity stolen at the same time when I was doing this as well. So there's other icing on the cake.
Oh man. Yeah, he would reenact things he would see in film, and he was always just absorbing stuff like that. And he was always interested in all facets of everything, and watching him perform, just like I was performing and stuff that our parents did growing up. You just kind of grow up in it and you just kind of soak it in. And so that's what I remember. And I think getting to see other people really get excited about things that he would do is exciting for me. Because to me, that was just life. That's just what you did. Yeah. And then you'd see family or friends or somebody just crack up or get interested and kind of catch his vision. He has this contagious way. Some of the actors we were talking about, his vision is so focused. And he brings you into that really, really easily. And I've always been able to fall into that as well, even as his older brother, and just getting excited about what he's excited about.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, well, Nate's a very talented performer in his own right and a wonderful vocalist and voiceover artist. And, I grew up watching him perform and doing professional productions and film and TV. And so in a lot of ways, he helped pave the way as well for me to step into. So.
Fantastic. Well, Nathan, so glad to have you here with us tonight, man. Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
being on the show. Great work. And I promised the cherry on top of the dessert. Why did I use that? Why did I even start that, Paul? Why did I start it? Shannon.
Because your mind is interesting.
Shannon, have you hung up or are you still there?
No, I'm still here. If you can hear me.
Of course we can hear you. We're listening to Shannon because the reason that we're not seeing Shannon tonight, poor Shannon, what'd you just go through recently?
I just got my wisdom teeth out. So
Congratulations.
super fun. I know. Not fun, but I'm still just a little chubby cheeked and a little stiff. So
it would have been adorable. We would have tried.
Oh,
it would have been great. Shannon,
What is it like wearing a mask with gauze in your mouth?
Luckily I didn't have to do that.
Oh,
so
good.
that is it's just naturally chubby because I'm so swollen.
It's something. My son Maddie had his wisdom teeth taken out this last week. I couldn't believe it. When I had mine taken out, I had to do mine were all impacted. Sorry, Kenny, we're talking about wisdom teeth on your premiere, so deal with it. Okay. We'll get to your wisdom teeth in a moment. Took me two different trips with 4 impacted teeth. Maddie, I had to take him down. My son Maddie, I took him down. He was in and out in 45 minutes. I couldn't believe it. How was yours a long procedure? Shannon, I'm so sorry that we're just talking about your wisdom teeth procedure.
No, that's okay. That's totally okay. I mean, honestly, I don't even remember it. So I couldn't tell you how long. Oh, I was out. I had all 4. Yeah, I don't remember getting into the car, but my sister said I just nodded at everything the dentist said. And I took videos of myself that I don't remember taking. So that's really fun too, you know?
We should have shown that tonight. That would have been something.
Oh, no. I mean, they're not that bad, but
okay. Very good. Shannon, how was it working for you on this project? And Kenny, please join in on this conversation. You know, the process of actually bringing Shannon in. What happened there?
Well, I have to say we were, I don't know what it was like on her end, but we were literally going into the principal shooting and we did not have our star female. And some of the people that we sort of had lined up couldn't do it and did a bunch of reach outs and we didn't have anybody. And it was like everybody else was lined up and it was like, we're doing this. And it's funny because she's someone that I actually had in mind for the role early on. Yeah. And then I thought, no. And I talked about it with John and I think I was talking with Ryan actually about it because we were looking at potentially Ryan does some casting stuff as well, and so we were looking, hence Ryan Castellino, they named him appropriately.
Oh brother,
but we were looking.
I'm gonna have to mute it. Look at that, he literally Ryan came on, gave you the thumbs up, he gave you the dad joke thumbs up. So,
he's in. Good work. Well, I have a team of writers here behind me who are just
do you because I think it's time to fire them.
Wow.
But we were thinking of having auditions and really going, having a full thing, but we ran out of time for that. And so it was like, okay, who are we going to get in this role? And we were talking about different people. And I was like, I would love to get her on, but I don't know if we can. And I was shooting one night, some of the principal shooting for some of the Charlie scenes. I don't know who cast that jerk, but filming some of those sequences. And I jumped on Instagram for a minute and saw her and was just like, hey, and the rest is history. I mean, she was just so generous in jumping on the project with us and really, as far as costume and makeup and set design and getting everything just right, even Drew commented like, this girl's got an eye to really make this happen. And so she was just such an integral part of the film. And that scene with Charlie and Joslyn with the combination of the music and the camera work, I just love that. I love that moment. I thought she did such a bang up job.
Amazing.
And I don't want her to feel like she was like the only one on the thing, because when me and Kitty were talking about her, no, I mean I hope it didn't sound that way, but it was,
No. Like no one else could do it. We were pushed against the deadline.
No, it wasn't
that early on.
It's okay. I totally get it.
It wasn't like that at all.
I
We
know,
were talking, and we talked about just her innocence and the way she brought, because we were aiming for something like Home Alone and getting that real innocence to the part. And as we were talking about it, I was saying, I think she looks really good with you, and we went back and forth about how she made that character just feel so innocent and easy and straightforward and just so natural that I think it was more. I don't think there was really anybody else who could have played that role more than it was. Like she was the only one. It was really. She was really perfect for it, and I think if anybody else had come up, we probably would have came to the same conclusion anyway.
Shannon, how was it for you? You were just magnificent in it, just so sweet, present, and just goofball fun, goofball adorable. What was the process like for you? You just got the clap from RC. There you go.
Oh, thanks, RC.
I got the clap.
Quiet, Paul. For gosh sake, I can't.
Wow.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it's good. That's honestly, thank you to everyone who said that. That was really sweet. I think Kenny and I talked enough about it. I wouldn't call myself necessarily an actress. I have experience performing. So I said yes. I was very flattered just to be asked to be a part of this. But then I got really nervous, I think, because I just, it through FaceTime, trying to figure out the right way to portray her and make her seem just like that girl next door who doesn't know like her worth essentially, but in a way that's kind of like playing on that innocence. So it was quite a journey. Poor Kenny had to put up with me being like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I'm just gonna keep trying. I took 1,000,001 takes, but Kenny had a lot of patience with me and a lot of grace, so I very much appreciate that. But it was a lot of fun. Definitely something that I hadn't done before, but I feel confident I could do it again. And it was really fun.
Outstanding. You did a great job. And honestly, just your presence, your natural charisma, everybody here in the chats are like literally, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Sam literally got a picture of you that he put up. So adorable. So good. Charity's on here saying you were such a great actress. So natural, sweet. Brenda's here saying really sweet. Shannon was adorable. I'll have to tell you that I have to give a shout out in the comments. Diana, God bless you. She had to get her front teeth removed on Thursday before Thanksgiving. So you think you had it bad?
No.
Diana, please heal up for goodness sake. Shannon, you were outstanding. Outstanding. Kenny, any last words that you want to pass on to Shannon before we bring everybody back for our big
I just have to say with Shannon was a little bit nervous, and when she sent over the test shots, it's hard because we didn't get a chance to really do formal auditions, like I said. And so you're a little bit nervous when you get that first test shot back. And when she sent it, I literally was jumping up and down praising God because it was so cute. And to what John said, yes, it's a short film, but we want it to be the best that it can be. And when you see the character Joslyn, John and I talked about this in depth. You have to love her immediately because you have no time to build this really great arc of this is a really great person and let's get to know her. You have to know in a short film, you have to get the characters very fast and very quick, and there's not a lot of time for development. And she's at the tail end of the film, and I feel like it really speaks to what she brought. And she was pushing for this sort of, originally we sort of saw the character in some ways like, okay, this amazing girl, right? Charlie finds this amazing girl, but she brought this sort of comfortable, kind of quirky, goofy, in a good way, cute energy to it that was different than what we even completely saw. And so I think it just really elevated it and helped us capture exactly what we were looking for.
Outstanding. Well, Shannon, congratulations on your work. You did an amazing, amazing job. And thanks for joining us tonight. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, great work.
Our pleasure. Hey, let's do this real quick. Let's bring everybody back. If you guys just want to unmute your video for just 1 second so we can see everybody. Ladies and gentlemen that are watching this, please give one more big round of applause to the entire cast and crew of Dating Under Quarantine. Thank you guys so much for sharing your time, your talents, and your skills with us tonight. Take a bow, for goodness sake. You guys were outstanding. There are applauses all over the place. Thanks, guys. You guys can all, I'm still going to ask Kenny and John to stick around. I'm going to ask everyone else to mute your videos. Thank you so much for joining us, because we want to tell you people that are listening right now how you can help this short film specifically. Producer Craig is on the chats right now. He's on the chats. What's wrong with my language skills tonight? Was my wife?
No,
would
that's right.
say.
He's currently on the chats in the YouTubes.
Yeah, you're hip to the job, Kev.
Well, just I'm on it. I'm firing on all cylinders, baby. Here's the deal.
I remember this well.
Oh boy. Okay. Producer Craig is in the chat on YouTube right now. Just as we were premiering this on our channel on Vaudacity Network, right now, this short film is available on the Dating Under Quarantine channel. And producer Craig is going to put a link in the show notes, which he has just shared right now. Can I please ask everyone that is watching this live stream tonight, as soon as we are done, which we're going to wrap up here in just a minute, could you please do us a favor? Click on that link, and this link will also be in the show notes. If you're listening to this on the audio podcast, go over to yourcreativejourneypodcast.com, and you can click underneath this show, and it'll be in those show notes to click over and watch Dating Under Quarantine again, even if you just saw it tonight, because the best way that you can help out these filmmakers and to support the craft that these guys have been working on, because honestly, this was a huge accomplishment, and the amount of time, effort, and skill that they put into it, the best way that you can support them is as soon as we're done with this show, or even now, I don't care. I want you to click on that link, head over and watch Dating Under Quarantine. And after you've watched it, please share it so that other people can see it. Share it on your social media so that other people can see the work that these guys did, because I think that that's what we do specifically on this show. We want to support people that have worked so hard. You know, I was just talking to my son, Maddie, about this earlier, Paul. We're in an interesting thing, and you see it every week with the amount of talent that shows up on your weekend shows. And there is nothing more important than supporting artists, especially as we go through this time. Ryan talked about it a little bit in the beginning, which is like, it's been such a challenging time for so many artists where the way that they were able to express themselves was suddenly, it was gone. And they're trying to figure out ways that they can still do this. And we're seeing things like Maddie talks about, hey, this is an opportunity for me to pivot and teach. You know, all of these guys that were here on the show tonight are talking about, you know, Drew talking about like, okay, well, this is different. Let me see how I can edit this right now, or let's work on these different projects. Ladies and gentlemen, the arts are just so important. I was literally just working on a project today. I'm working on a writing project with someone that isn't in the arts, but he talks specifically about how arts saved him in a different part of his life when he was going through some major stuff. And he ended up getting involved in some writing and theater and all this other stuff. And it's not necessarily just about pursuing this as a career, but it does serve a purpose, right? So, Paul, you're a big proponent of this, especially every weekend on your show with what
it's like, and what's happening right now is really blowing me away. It is that whole thing where it's just like, you see how creators just have that fire inside and like try to put it out. Just try. Last week, or this past Saturday on our show, we did Wicked. We did Wicked. Top, like, basically Frank Romeo told the story, and then we had the performers perform the songs. And people were telling me afterward, like, I've seen the Broadway show, and like I felt like that was just as enjoyable, just watching people do it for this show. And just the level of talent, and not only that, but like the creators who you see doing this stuff right now, they're the ones who are setting themselves up for success along the way, adapting, like you just said. Get the microphone, get the thing to hook in your computer. Look at Kenny's camera, for gosh sakes, like he was ready for tonight. Excuse me. And like you see right in front of you on a weekly basis how artists are adapting and figuring out ways to express themselves creatively in the best light. And it's really inspirational for me. I find it to be very inspiring. And I just love finding, like, I'm so thankful for this tonight. I'm going to reach out to a bunch of these people, like your brother, Kenny, and Kenny, you should be on my show too. Sing something, come on and do some improv. RC, John, come join us on Saturday nights. And just finding these creative people who are still out there doing the things and finding ways that they can work on their craft and excel at their craft, even in this time. It's amazing.
It's outstanding. So please, anybody that's listening to the show tonight or watching on YouTube, please, as soon as we're done, go over, watch that again. Producer Craig, put that link up one more time if you can, just so that people can find it again, so they can go over. Awesome. Fellas, final words. John, let me start with you, and Kenny will bring it home to you, buddy, because this is where the seed started with you, pal. John, closing thoughts.
We didn't talk much about it, but was the music. We had original music done for the movie, and I think that really, when we added that to the film, it really brought about the mood and the things that we did. It was phenomenal art that was done there, and a lot of back and forth to get the right sound and to get the right feel through a lot of this stuff. So kudos to all that was done. It was, that's something that we didn't talk about much, but it really made the film, I think.
Outstanding.
But I had a great time. I would love to, it's been a great process to go through, and from beginning to all the way to promoting it and learning about those aspects of film work, not just the actual art, but the whole idea of producing a film from beginning to end was a phenomenal experience. So, and we had fun. We really changed our relationship together, so it's a good, for a good thing.
Good stuff. Well, love you, John. Glad to have you on the show. We're bringing you back. I gotta put you under the grill on this show too. Get you there. Kenny, congratulations on your premiere tonight. Final thoughts before I do my old wind up here, as Paul and I do the wind up of the old podcast here in podcast towns. Boy, I'm on fire tonight. Everybody. Got a face plant, got a face palm. Can't even talk anymore. What do you got to say, Kenny?
Well, I don't know if I can follow that, but
so eloquent.
Just so grateful to everyone who's watching tonight, and grateful to all the cast and crew. As Johnny was saying, thank you, Andy Gladback, who wasn't able to be here, who did the music. And just grateful to you, Kevin, and Paul, and the Vaudacity Network team, and your Creative Journey podcast team, and all of my cast and crew who was able to make it tonight, and those that aren't here. You guys are all amazing, and I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for helping me make this vision come alive. And so grateful to John Eden for coming on. I called him and said, I've got this idea. What do you think? And he just said yes. And I was really surprised that he did. And I just feel like God had his hand on us through the whole thing, and just really grateful to be able to share it with everybody. And if you can, go over, check out the YouTube page, smash the like button, subscribe, like the videos. There's other content over there, and we plan on bringing some extra content too. And then depending on how things go, we may do some more development with it. We'll see what happens. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. A pleasure to have you guys on tonight. Hey, Paul, speaking of smashing and liking stuff, how about for people that have never seen this show before or have never listened to this show before? What can they do?
Well, if you want to see the show, we record it usually Tuesday nights live on the YouTubes, inside the YouTubes at vaudacitynetwork.com. And then Kevin does his magic like Merlin, pulling swords out of anvils or teeth out of Kevin's son. And he mixes the audio and makes it presentable in podcast form. That comes out every Monday wherever you consume podcasts. And if you want to help us out and help us find new ear holes that love us, go ahead and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
I think I've got one this week, buddy.
What?
Yes. Oh my gosh. You just reminded me. How could I forget this? What a great.
Leave us a positive review. We might even read the review on the show at the end of the show, just like.
As soon as my internet decides to work. I mean, it's working for the Zoom right now. Aha. Here it is. I'm going to read somebody's positive review that they just left for us this week. Come on, here we go. Look at this. I want to read this. This is from Susie2B. Creative, inspiring arts. This podcast is fun, amazing, and real. Hearing from other people on their creative journey and how much they felt through the journey to the success moment helps motivate me in my other creations, whether it's art, work, or just sparking a new way to live more creatively. This is worth a listen. Thank you, Susie to be. So,
thank you.
Folks, if this is your first time listening to it, especially doing listening to podcasts, we just want to get it out there. Just like we're asking, you to go over and see Kenny's film tonight, the work that these guys have done. Help spread the word with this show. If it's your first time listening to this tonight, go back and check the other episodes at yourcreativejourneypodcast.com. We have had on some amazing guests. You can even hear the past episode that we did with Kenny, where he talks more about the process. Just go check it out. So, Paul.
Big congrats to Kenny this week, who became the second guest that we've had back.
Congratulations. So there you go.
I did it.
You're number two. You're number two.
And to echo your point, there is so much great content on the podcast. If you go back and you go on Apple Podcasts, I've been enjoying listening every week and trying to catch it. So there's a lot of great guests and a lot of helpful content for creatives.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Big shout out to the entire crew for everybody that helped us out tonight. I want to give a special shout out to Sam. Thank you so much. Paul, please help me say Sam's last name so I say it correctly.
Sam Mikulich.
Sam Mikulich.
Another person who I could go on about, just took the challenges in front of him in this time, learned a new skill, and look what he can do live on YouTube now. He's produced all of the ways that you're seeing it happen.
Sam, just thank you so much for stepping up to the plate and helping us do this. Producer Craig, the entire team that helps us out there, Christina, Dari, Heather. Who am I missing, Paul? Am I missing anybody else?
I think you nailed it.
We're literally going to have to start doing a post roll on this. Anyway, that's how we roll. I think I've talked enough. Wouldn't you say? Yeah.
Just the way it's going tonight, I'd say no.
I would say so too. Tell you what, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Sam, I'm going to have you say goodbye to all of us here on the mainstream. Thank you for joining us. And Brian Reed's on the show next week, technician from Disneyland. He does a whole bunch of other theatrical rigging. Look at that. RC knows him too. Look at that. Come on back if you want to hear some awesome technical stuff to help out our technical people. I'm going to stop talking now. Bye.
Does the technicals.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you later.